So you want me to share, huh?
Welcome to the Guide to the Borderlands. This is Lindsay Beatty. I am editor in chief of Gaming Insurrection, and this is for our Borderlands Experience section of Gaming Insurrection, where we talk in depth about the first game in the Borderlands mythos created by Gearbox Software. I've been playing Borderlands for a very long time. I've been playing since 2010. And I like to think that I know a lot about the game. So what we're trying to do here is explain more about the game, especially if you're just coming to the series, starting with Borderlands 3, which has already been out for like a year and some change already, maybe even 2 years at this point. I would like to talk about Borderlands from the perspective of the first game, so that if you're just starting with the series, you learn just how incredible this game is and how incredible the series is. By game number 3, I mean it's pretty much old hat for some folks, but for those of you just starting with Borderlands, the first game is really where you should start. You should really play the first game before you play the third one. But I can understand if you've played the third one and you're like, I wonder what Borderlands is about. I want to go back and play the earlier games. This is where you're going to learn everything about Borderlands and learn how the basis of the game works in terms of mechanics that they've built on now through 3 games. So that's what we're aiming to do here with this series and with the Borderlands experience. So in this episode, this is our first episode of the Guide to the Borderlands, where we're doing a video and we're going to do some type of education. We're planning to do this more often with other things in the series, and especially in this first game, which we're focusing on for the Borderlands experience for right now. I want to do more of this. So what we're going to do here is I am looking at a screenshot from the game, and it's the menu screen. And what I really want to do here is explain to you how the inventory backpack system works, how your equipment works, and how you equip guns and accessories. That's important. If you don't know how any of this works, you're going to be lost when you start playing. And especially once you get to the third game, and the screens look a lot different in the third game by the time you get there. So it's important to know how it works to start with the first game. So I want to use a screenshot from the first game explaining how everything works. So we're going to get started. So I'm going to try to do this in order of how I'm looking at it and explain each section, which we're going to have numbered on screen. And that way you guys can understand how all of this works and plays together to create your character and their inventory system and their weapons. Because the name of the game here is Loot and Shoot. It is what we call a looter shooter. So it's in the vein of Diablo, if you've ever played that. And they took a lot of inspiration from Diablo. Gearbox did. So that's, if you are familiar with that, that's why you're going to be like, oh, okay, he's got a big old backpack and these are all the weapons that he has. So, and then he's got other equipment that he's using. Okay, this makes sense now when you are out in the field. So let's get started. All right, so starting with section number 1, that would be your weapons and class mods section on the left-hand side of the screen. In this example, the backpack has 19 slots filled out of a total of 42. Now, throughout the game, you can increase that 42 number. You can increase that pretty high because you can get a lot of what they call backpack storage deck upgrades. So what that does is give you more inventory slots to work with. And you start out with like a few, but once you go in through the game, completing missions, talking to people, you get more storage deck upgrades. And also, you will get them from doing missions where you repair claptraps that you find throughout Pandora. Once you find one, they generally tend to give you storage deck upgrades. And those storage deck upgrades, SDU, you'll see it abbreviated, will show up as an item within your inventory. You have to go within the inventory, click on it, and it will add the slots in for you to be able to add more weapons. So, to your collection. So, that's important. That's very important. You really should do as many of the claptrap repair missions as possible. Make those a priority for your character, because inventory space in this is limited, and it's important to have inventory space. Now, as a side note, later on in the game, if you get the Mad Moxie's Underdome expansion, you can open up the vault where you can store things. Most people buy Moxie to do that. We certainly did. When I started playing, my former producing partner and I quickly realized we were running out of space for all of the weapons we would go through and find. So we quickly bought Moxie once it came out, and started storing it, just storing stuff. Now, I've played through a little bit of Moxie, and it's nothing to write home about. I thought it was going to be much more like the Circle of Slaughter missions that are found within the actual base game, but it's close to that, but it's not really. There's more to it, but it's not as engaging as I once thought. So I tend to not play through Moxie except to do a few little missions so I can get a few little rewards. Sometimes I pick up the guns and keep them that you get from winning in Moxie. But for the most part, we tend to just use Moxie as the storage. And we do it on both playthroughs so that you have some place to store your weapons. So that's why getting those storage deck upgrades is important, because you need to be able to carry a lot of stuff with you. So yes, on the left hand side of the screen, that is your inventory. That is fully your inventory at that point in time. What you choose to put in your backpack. So starting at the top, you'll see it's labeled by weapons and then by class mod. So weapons, those are the guns you're going to get. Them's guns. Let's just call it that. It's them's guns. And you will see that you have 7 types of weapons. There are there's 7. And 8 if you count Iridian. So, and you can count this down at the bottom where you see ammo. You have ammo slots down there for 7 types of guns. However, Iridian counts as an 8th type, but you don't have to get weapons ammo for it. It automatically regenerates, so you'll never have to worry about it. It just kind of has to recharge, and so once you let it recharge, you got full magazine again. And you can see an Iridian weapon in this example where it's the 110101 ball blaster, which is actually I actually kind of like the ball blaster. I actually really like the ball blaster. So that's an Iridian weapon. So going back up to the top, you see there's a variety of weapons within this section. And they're color coded, and this is why this is important. And you got to know the color coding system, because it's very important when it comes to selecting your weapons, knowing what you're picking up and throwing out. Okay, so starting at the top, you'll see there's a detonating Cobra, LB-20 detonating Cobra. Then there's an incendiary Vengeance. So now those two are what we like to call golden guns. They're really like orange colored or light yellow. Some people see it as yellow, and when looking at this screen, I can tell you there's a difference in color. The top one is more orangish. The second one is more light yellow. light orange. So those two, but they both belong in the category of what we call golden guns. These are the guns that are really sought after, that you really want to have in your hands. Like, I mean, you really want to have these because they are some of the top of the line, extremely rare guns in the game. So you find those, I don't tend to let those go, even if they might be like 20 levels lower than me, than what my character is. I'm not letting go a golden gun unless it is absolutely the lowest possible level for a golden gun, which I think is like 13, I think. I've never seen anything less than 13. So it's probably around that level. 13 is probably the lowest. So yeah, I don't let golden guns go. I will hold on to a golden gun the whole playthrough, especially if I found it at the beginning, because that means the game is being very generous to me. The AI director is looking at my character and going, I see she's got Team Find Rare Items on. Hey, I should probably be nice. Throw her a bone. I let her find that golden gun, and then I'll hold on to it. So, yeah, keep a golden gun if you can. So in this case, a detonating Cobra. That's a very nice game. Very nice gun. The Incendiary Vengeance. That's a pretty nice gun too. I have to remember what Vengeance does, and also the ending part. This is something also important to note. Certain guns will always be a certain suffix. Like the Cobra is always going to be. Well, you could have I take that back. You could have a Cobra that's like not golden. But a Vengeance will always be golden if I'm not mistaken. Now you can have a Fearsome Thunder, but I don't think it can ever be gold. The Gamble is never going to be gold. A Ball Blaster is probably just going to be, it could be purple, it could be blue, I think. But there are certain types of guns are always going to be like a golden gun, and you will know them when you see them. So like a detonating Cobra, that's always going to be a golden gun, I'm pretty sure. So as a matter of fact too, so skipping ahead a little bit, just to tail end on that, in the equipped section, the second gun that's equipped looks to be a Combustion Hellfire SMG, and a combustion Hellfire will always be a golden gun. A Hellfire is always golden, so I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a Combustion Hellfire there. And a Combustion Hellfire is the best fire SMG in the game. It's really good. You really want to pick one up because it's probably gonna have ×4 fire on it, which means it's gonna be doing the max. Like, you can go from ×1 to ×4. ×4 means it's doing the max. You're gonna always, there's a very high chance you're gonna get fire in every shot. You're gonna get that combustion that you want in every shot, which is fantastic because you really want every shot to count, and every shot should be a fire shot. So that's why you care about whether or not it's a Combustion Hellfire or not. So anyway, jumping back over to the left side, you'll see the next gun under the Incendiary Vengeance is a Fearsome Thunder. That is a sniper rifle. A Thunder is always going to be a sniper rifle. And the Fearsome prefix can be on golden guns or not. That is very. It can be on any color gun. Because as you can see underneath it, there's a blue Fearsome Gamble, and it's a Fearsome. So I have a Fearsome Skull Smasher, which is a Jacobs sniper rifle that does godly types of damage, and has a huge kickback on it. But the trade-off is the godly damage, because Jacobs guns do a lot of damage. And they have very small magazine sizes. So if you can get to a Fearsome Skull Smasher, it's always going to be a golden gun. because the Skull Smasher is in fact the golden suffix for sniper rifles. So that's why you want to know how this works. But that purple Fearsome Thunder, it looks fantastic. I'm pretty sure it's going to do a lot of damage. The Fearsome Gamble, I was always told, and this was my former producing partner, was very good at Borderlands. So let me just insert that for a second. He was very good at Borderlands, and he understood the game very intuitively. And so he would always give me little tidbits when we would be playing through. And I tended to trust his knowledge on Borderlands because he knew what he was talking about. He spent a lot of time playing it, and learned a lot about the game, and thus taught me a lot about it. A lot of these things, like knowing which manufacturers make what, and what guns can always be golden, what guns can be pearlescence. That was stuff that he would tell me. He would figure it out, and he would tell me. And then we would go through and play, and I'd be like, oh, look at that. You were correct. So in this case, I say all that to say, he taught me about anything that says a gamble is a gamble. You're taking a gamble by playing with it. So I tend to leave gambles alone, unless it's something like a blue. You see, it's this blue Fearsome Gamble. I would pick that up. Even though it says gamble, I would pick it up. Now, if it were a green gamble or a white gamble, I'm not picking that up. I don't care what level it is. I'm not picking up a green or a white gamble because you're taking a gamble by using it. And the reason why it's not particularly a great gun if it says a gamble is because the fire rate is not all that great. The damage is not all that great. And your percentage of shot is not that great. So you might aim at something, but you might miss. So that's why you're taking the gamble. So that's why I was like, oh, it's a gamble. It's a blue gamble. I could deal with that. So yeah, I could deal with that Fearsome Gamble. Next up is the Ball Blaster. Like I say, Iridium weapons, I tend to like anything that makes a big giant ball of energy. So the Ball Blaster, I can't remember if the Ball Blaster does a big giant ball or if it's just like the little mid-sized balls of energy. But the Ball Blaster is not a bad gun. I actually really like it. And because it's an Iridium weapon, I will pick it up even though it's green. I've never seen golden Iridium weapons. So that's a thing. That's not you're not going to see that. Mostly going to see some greens, some blues, and some purples. I've seen a lot of purple and a lot of green. I've very seldom seen blue, but I know that they're possible. You're going to see a lot of greens and a lot of purples for Iridium weapons. But if you see an Iridium weapon, pick it up. Don't let it go by. Now, the last weapon here in this column is a combat rifle. It's a white level gun, and we don't fool with white level guns. I had to tell my current producing partner this once he started playing. I was like, we don't deal with white level guns. They gotta be really good for me to pick them up. So I'm gonna really be studying those stats and looking at it before I pick it up. So in this case, maybe this person got this as a reward for doing a mission. Maybe they picked it up. We don't know. But if it's something that's laying on the ground and it's a white level gun, I'm not probably not picking that up. Unless it's really good. And in the beginning, yes, I will pick up white level guns just because I've got to have something. So there's that. All right. Moving down this column, also you will see we're getting into the class mods. Class mods are important and they are very character specific. You will know what kind of class mod, and it will tell you. As you can see over here on the right side of the screen, the Heavy Gunner class mod is what's selected. Now, it tells you class requirement is soldier. So that's a requirement. You cannot put that on anybody else but the soldier. So if you're playing Roland, you could put that on. But you also, if you'll notice at the top, it says level requirement. You have to be a certain level in order to put this on. Now, the higher level you get, once you pass a level requirement for a class mod or a weapon, the higher you get, the lower that level requirement goes down. It's weird, and that's a bug. It wasn't supposed to do that, but it does in the game. So, looking at this class mod, you can see, and looking at the left-hand side, you'll see they have several class mods in here. They have a support gunner, a rifleman, another rifleman that's a different, notice it's a different rarity color. One is purple and one is blue. And then you have a sniper class mod, and then a heavy gunner class mod. Now, I can tell you, looking at this, the sniper class mod, that's something they're probably going to sell. They picked it up, and they either are going to sell it or they're going to give it to somebody they're playing with. Because the sniper class mod belongs to the hunter. It is not for a soldier. So, that's important to note. Also, that's what it means by class requirement. So, these are really good class mods for the soldier. Looking at this is very good class mods for a soldier. I tend to use support gunner class mod when I play, and sometimes I use heavy gunner because it gives you, if you'll notice, one of the flavor text down there on the example for the heavy gunner class mod. Notice it says plus 50% weapon magazine size. That's important because what he's doing is he's doubling almost giving you, more for your weapon magazine size. That's super important. That means you got more bullets to shoot. So you don't have the unfortunate pleasure of running out of ammo. That's super important. I cannot stress that enough. I most of the time use support gunner or I use heavy gunner for my soldier whenever I play with my level 69 Roland. So that's very important. You got to understand what these things mean. Also, looking at the example for the heavy gunner class mod, you'll see underneath the plus 50% weapon magazine size, there is a plus 2 impact skill, plus 3 metal storm skill, and plus 35% weapon fire rate. Now, the important things to note here, the plus 2 impact skill and the plus 3 metal storm skill, that refers to his skill tree. Now, as you're going through the game and you're leveling up and you're getting experience points, which we've talked about in a previous part of the Guide to Borderlands Mechanics, we've talked about what a skill tree means. As you're going through and leveling up, you get skill points. I was trying to think of the best way to say that. Skill points. Skill points you add to each of his skills. You can add to his whatever you want to. And you have to do it in order sometimes, but to start at the very top. But you add these to his skill tree skills. Then that improves that skill more so than what it already is. So say you got plus 2. You already have to have something in it though. You have to have already chosen it in order to be able to use these skill plus whatever skills. You can't have an empty thing and then it'd be like, oh yeah, well, this says I get plus 2 impact skill and you haven't put any points toward impact skill. So that's why that's important to note that if you've got these skills already owned and you've already chosen them, that's great. You want that. Because this will enhance the skill, but you have to have it to enhance it. So now the 30 plus 35% weapon fire rate, that's a general skill. That's not a specialized skill. So the plus 35% weapon fire rate means he gonna fire plus 35% more than what he already was, because it's a general skill. He by default has a weapon fire rate. So that's going to give plus 35% to it. So that's great. I actually really, really like that. And his weapon magazine size. And I'm going to tell you, that increases when it says plus 50% weapon magazine size. That means your character plus everybody else you playing with. Also, that plus 35% means the weapon fire rate means everybody, you and everybody on your team that you're playing with, if you're doing co-op or you're playing online with multiplayer, that means everybody on the team going to get those skills upgraded. Now, the impact skill and the metal storm skill are specialized skills for Roland. He's the only one that's going to get it. Now, if you're playing with another Roland, I suspect you get it too. And the same thing applies. that Roland has to have the +2 impact skill, +3 metal storm skill. But it's a team application, from what I know. And I've tested this with the +50% weapon magazine size. So that's how I know that that's an application for the team. So keep that in mind. You have to consider what would be good for you if you're playing by yourself, or what's good for you and the team if you're playing with someone. That's important. You got to keep that in mind. So let's pop on down to the bottom of this screen for number 2. This is where you see all your ammo. And the different weapon types are down there. So you have, and I'm pretty sure that 600 starting is pistol. No, actually, I'm wrong about that. That is not pistol, because pistol is the second one. So they separate repeaters and automatic pistols, I think, is what they're called. So those are actually, I take that back. That is the repeater. The first one is the repeater. The second one is a pistol. The third is an SMG. The fourth one is shotgun. The fifth one is combat rifle. And the sixth one is sniper rifle. And the seventh one is rocket launcher. And then the very last thing on the end that has number 7 is grenades. I had to look at that hard there for a second and remember, oh yeah, the SMG is going to have a ton of bullets. So an SMG, in this case, they've got 1260. They've done a lot for their SMG that they bought from the ammo upgrades and the ability to hold a ton of ammo. They bought all of that from Marcus's munitions and ammo machines. So they bought the upgrades, a bunch of upgrades, because this is a lot of ammo. And they're almost near at 37. They're either at the game, they're either at the end of the game, or they're very, very, very near the end of the game on first playthrough. So that's kind of, yeah, I wonder if this is at the end of the first playthrough. So you can see all the ammo that they have down at the bottom. That is wonderful. Also, I can tell you too, playing with Roland, he has a skill, and plus the support gunner regenerates ammo for everybody. The only thing it does not regenerate is grenades. You have to find your own grenades. So you got to still search for that. But if you're playing with a Mordecai and you got a Bloodwing set up correctly, where he's what we call the Richie Rich build, Bloodwing will be generating also ammo, health, and money. So you're more likely going to get grenades replenished through Bloodwing if you're playing with a Mordecai and a Roland. So all of your ammo needs are set, plus your health needs are set. And as you can see in this picture too, also, there is a med kit in there. Somebody has bought med kits, or they've picked them up, or they've, found something, a med kit. But most of the time, if you're playing your skills right, you won't ever need to buy health. Especially if you're playing with a Roland and you got him set up where he's got the cauterize skill. Cauterize, you can shoot your teammate and heal them. If they are sitting in a car and the car has been damaged, you can shoot the car and heal the car. So, yeah, that's why you want cauterize with Roland. That is one of his best skills. They did not think that, the developer did not think about the fact that the car would also be healed. That was an added bonus that they discovered after the fact and left in. So also here down at the bottom, very quickly, we have your money. Your collected money at this point, which in this case is 8,661,600. Now, at a certain point, the counter is going to hit 9,999,999. You can collect more than that. The counter just only shows you that in the first game. The second game and the third game thereafter, you and any other spin-off game will show you exactly how much you have. The counter does go past the 9,999,999. That's important to note. Then also it shows your health, your current health at the time. At this point, this character has 912 health points out of 913 max. So they're almost at full health. They're literally a point off of full health. And that's not terrible. For the end of the game, that's actually great. I'm curious what their shield is, because if they've got 900 health, that means, like I say, they're probably near the end of the game, first playthrough, or the very start of the second playthrough. They are nowhere near playthrough 2.5, what we like to call 2.5. So yeah, they're very at the very end of the game, or the very beginning of playthrough 2. Probably in Firestones, it looks like in the background, and you can barely kind of make it out. So yeah, they're probably on second playthrough, beginning of second playthrough. So now we're going to jump to section 3, which is your equipped things. So this is important. Knowing what you have equipped and where you have it equipped is important. Now, this is a picture, and I should have stated this from the beginning. This is a picture from the PC version, but this is very, very, very much exactly what it looks like on the console version. The console version looks exactly like this, except it tells you what button you have those weapons equipped to in the under the equipped section where your weapons are. They will have a thing that shows you exactly what part of the D-pad you have it equipped to. So, and I love the quick wheel loadout for that, because once I've been playing long enough and I get back into my groove, I know exactly what buttons I put my weapons on, and I can quickly switch to the weapon and boom, start doing what I need to do. So in this case, I am almost certain that the gun at the very top is a Genocide Avenger. I think it is a pearlescent gun, because the Genocide Avenger is a pearlescent, and I think I'm saying the name right. I think that's a Genocide Avenger, what it's called. It is a very, 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 very good pearlescent, what is called a pearlescent, which is found in Nox, Secret Armory of General Nox. Once you get that DLC, those weapons start appearing within the main game and within Nox. So I think that's what that is. Not entirely certain, but I'm taking a guess here. The second gun equipped looks like a Combustion Hellfire, which is an SMG. It is a golden gun SMG, one of the best in the game. You want one for its very, very, very good fire percentage, as I said before. Then underneath that, it looks like some type of rifle. It may or may not be a golden. I don't think it is, though. But it looks like it's a very good rifle. And it's yellow, so it might be a golden one. But that's a combat rifle. And it might be a Vladov, which means if it's a Vladov, they're going to have a whole lot of shots in it. As the slogan goes in game, you don't need to be a better shot. You just need more bullets. I memorized almost all of the slogans for the companies because you hear it so often, and I play through so much. So with several different characters, I have 2 of every character except Roland. I just have 1 soldier made, but I have 2 hunters. And I do not have a brick. I don't have a brawler at all. But I don't have a berserker at all. Just because I just didn't want to play as him. I have 2 sirens, 2 hunters, and I have my Roland. So, and I have other various support characters that I start to do a project or something like that. So, yeah, I have a lot of characters. So that's why I say that looks like I know that might be a Vladov just because or it's a Maliwan because it might do elemental. But just because I've heard the slogan so much, you start recognizing the guns too. And the bottom gun looks like a volcano fire sniper rifle. I could be wrong about that. It might even be, that does very much look like a volcano. It might be a lightning, fulgurating something or another. Lightning sniper rifle, but, or it could be, an acid sniper rifle, but I'm pretty sure that's a volcano also. I'm willing to place bets that that's a volcano, which a volcano is the best fire sniper rifle in the game also. I know that because I've had several. So yes, they've got a good selection of weapons on. I don't know about having 2 combat rifles on, because that Genocide Avenger is probably a combat rifle. So having 2 on is kind of counterproductive. But if you've got a heavy gunner class mod, you can get around the fact that that's that you have 2 of the same guns on, because your heavy gunner class mod is going to, or actually it's going to give you more weapon magazine, but really you want a support gunner on, because then it regenerates the ammo, so you don't ever worry about running out of ammo. So that's doable if they wanted to do that. That's very doable. I just personally do not have on 2. I don't try to have on the same, like more than one of the same type of weapon. I find it counterproductive, and I run out of bullets faster. So I'm just like, but it depends on the circumstances too. So moving over to the far right column for your incidentals and accessories. Let's call them accessories. Your shield, I don't know what their shield is, but they've got a shield equipped. That's what the very top right slot is. Underneath that, they have a grenade mod. Now, for shields, let me back up for a second. For shields, it don't really matter to me. I try to get the best shield that has a high capacity and a low recharge rate, which that's very rare. I mean, you can find that, but it's hard. But if it's got a lot of capacity, I'll take it, because I want more shield. I want to be able to not have to touch my main health if I'm getting tore up by somebody. I don't want my main health being touched at all. I just want you to hit my shield. And if I got a really great shield, my shield is not going to go down quickly. Okay. So, and that's very important, especially if you're playing as a brick, because we talked about in our Guns of Pandora podcast, there's a build with brick where if he goes down, it takes forever for him to go down. But when he goes down, it takes as soon as he comes back up, he got almost full shields, and he's got full life recharging. So that's saying you take him down, and he can get back up. Oh, he's getting back up, and he's coming back with full life. So you don't have to worry about him. So that's why you care about the shield type that you get, and also playing with the right class mod and the right build for brick. So then we come on down. And your second one is your grenade mod. Your grenade mod, I personally only use transfusion grenades. I got into the habit of using transfusion because I love being able to throw out a grenade, do damage to my enemy, and get health back, because I'm probably getting shot at when I throw that grenade out, and I'm probably going to take a couple of hits. So I like being able to recharge my health. Also, I like the transfusion grenades because I'll use them as a seeker. I'll throw something out there, smoke somebody out, and suss out their location, and then I can assess whether or not I want to be bothered with any of that. So, especially if it's an enemy hiding on screen and I can't find them, I'll throw out a transfusion grenade and let it do the work for me. Suss out my enemy and smoke them out. and that'll make them pop up and there they go, and then I can shoot. So yeah, I that's why I like transfusions. Also there is a gun called Kyros's Power, and there's a white troll gun. I can't remember if that's the actual name of this, white something. It's a pistol. The Kyros's Power is a sniper rifle that you can get in Secret Armory of General Knox. You can get that white troll too. It's a pistol, or it's a repeater. I think it's a repeater. And they both act as transfusion. They act like a transfusion grenade, so that when you shoot somebody, it generates health. If you need it. If you don't, I mean, it's just a regular old sniper rifle. But yeah, they're great to have. So yeah, grenade mods are important because they can help you. I do like bouncing Bettys too. And I sometimes like the explosive bouncing ones where they bounce and it shoots out mini rockets. That's pretty cool. Those are pretty cool. And then moving on to our last one here, they have a class mod on equipped, but it is not the one that is selected to the left. It's not the heavy gunner class mod. It's something else. So I don't know what it is, but it has to be specific to rolling. So I don't know what it is, but it's probably helpful. Probably very helpful. I can't think of a single one. If you use a lot of rifles, that rifleman class mod is good. I can't think of anything else beyond the support and then there's the combat shotgun one. So maybe that's what that is. I don't know. But the combat shotgun one, I like it because if I do use a lot of shotguns, and it's very helpful when I want regenerating shotgun ammo and I'm doing a lot more shotgun damage. I love shotguns. So I use shotguns and sniper rifles a lot. Sometimes I use pistols, but I very, very often will use a shotgun to get done what I need done very quickly. Because up close, I will tear you up with a shotgun. It does a lot of damage. So that's pretty much it. We've covered the explainer here with the heavy gunner class mod that's selected. That's part number, probably part number 6 that we've already covered in depth here. So, the only thing I would like to note about the heavy gunner class mod is that, you can see down at the bottom too, this is important for me, how much you will get back if you want to sell it. Now, I have a specific amount that I sell my weapons for. It is a limit. I do not sell anything under 10,000 on first playthrough, unless I'm at the very beginning and I gotta get some fast cash. But once you gotta start, you have to be discerning in what you're going to pick up and sell and what you're going to keep. And once you start getting near the end of the first playthrough, things start increasing in value. You can start finding better weapons, higher, levels, and they're going to increase in value. The increase in value is why you want to sell it, because then you can make money to buy more guns. So that is why you care about how much it is. So I want to thank you for listening to this, and I want you to come back and listen to more of our guide to Borderlands mechanics, and watching this and going through this with us and getting some education on Borderlands. It's a fantastic game, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So this is very helpful, and I hope this will be very helpful for those of you who are starting and you want to understand a little bit more in depth about Borderlands. Thank you for watching, and we will come back later with more offerings in the Guide to Borderlands.